What happens when you're infected and you don't have any antibiotics?
Then in a certain amount of time, your infection progresses from one. I think there's 3 stages of it, and after the 3rd stage, I think it is, you die.
Okay.
Yeah. So
any advice on what I should do?
Well, you either got to keep looking through loot piles until you find antibiotics, or hope we can get a beaker from somewhere and some moldy bread. We have the potassium nitrate powder, and in order to be able to craft a beaker, or not craft it, but cook an antibiotic. So, until then, you're just kind of waiting to die.
Okay. No big deal.
I know, right? Okay, so hopefully we'll be able to save my wife's, well, I guess this would be her 2nd life.
Could you possibly build
a shelter?
I'm sorry, storage thing.
Yeah, I can do
I have food on me that's scented.
Oh, yay! Okay. First, let me show them this real quick. Okay, cloth fragments. This is what you need to make the sleeping bag. In order to do that, you need cotton and cotton. So you need 2 cotton per 1 cloth fragment. So we've got 34, which is an even number, so we split that in half, and we'll get 17 cloth fragments. We'll go ahead and do that. And while she's doing... or while that's... oh, wait, I can't craft the storage chest. While that's crafting. I'll craft a storage chest next, and I'll show you guys the recipe for that, since that's what we need for her immediate situation. And, you know, this is where you guys have to be kind of flexible as far as the game goes. It's not going to go, obviously, it's not going to go in this order every time you play through. It's going to be a slightly different experience every time you play. So just adapt what you guys are learning from this to your individual situation. Okay, so I've got the cloth fragments. Just so I don't get off topic, and I can show you guys where I was headed. Now that I've got the cloth fragments, you'll see sleeping bag is lit up. If you click on sleeping bag, then it puts the grid up there, and that's how you craft one of these guys, which will be your basic spawn point. I think the advantages to the other 2 spawn points you can get are an old mattress, which is not craftable at this point in the game. And keep in mind, 7 Days to Die, the game that we're playing, is in alpha, so it's still in development, and it's going to be a little while before it's fully released. But you guys will see how amazing it is, even being in alpha. Still, in alpha, there's still things that aren't fully bridged. For instance, as I was saying, your 3 spawning points are a sleeping bag, an old mattress, and an old bed. I believe the advantage to each is that each one is slightly more durable than the last, if it ever comes under attack. So the sleeping bag would break the easiest, next would be the old mattress, and finally the old bed, because it's actually got like an old iron bed frame. Okay, so, moving on, she needed a secure storage chest. So you can see that's lit up here. And it takes wood planks to craft. This is going to be your main storage item for storing your inventory, or storing items outside of your inventory. So I've crafted one, and I'll show you how they work. For one, when you're placing blocks, 2 things you need to be aware of. One is, whenever you place something, whether it's a storage chest or a full-on block or whatever, it always occupies a full block space, which is signified by this transparent green cube here. So when I place this large wood chest, it will occupy the block space, which means nothing else can be put in that block space. In some cases when you're building, that can be annoying, but it's just something to be aware of. The next thing is that when you place blocks, you can rotate them to your liking. So right now you can kind of make out, you can kind of see how the chest is going to be horizontal, parallel to the foot of the sleeping bag. If you left click, it will then rotate, so now you can see it's vertical. Now, and then you can also rotate it at angles. So we're going to go ahead and place it parallel to the foot of the bed. In order to place a block, you right-click. And in some cases, like here, it will sink stuff in to blend with the terrain. Other times, if it's slightly above the terrain, it will kind of raise the terrain up and flatten it underneath your block to make it look neater. The devs are doing a really good job with adapting different aspects of a voxel-based game and making it look realistic. I mean, in reality, this is an entire... The map is entirely made up of voxels. They're not necessarily cube-shaped, but essentially the map is made of blocks. But as you can see, it doesn't look... It's not like Minecraft where everything's cubes. So that's pretty cool. Back to the secure storage chest. As you can see, when you target it, it has an E, which signifies the key you use to use the secure storage chest. So you hit that, and ta-da! So the secure storage chest, if you played Minecraft, it works just like that. You just pull something up into it, hit E, and now it's not in your inventory. It's just a way to be able to store stuff that you want to keep without, losing it. So once she gets back with that meat, which will come really in handy soon, then she can drop it in there. A note on meat and the like. You will get meat from hunting animals, and it has a scent, which can be sensed by enemies. So that's something you have to be aware of when you're out and about and when you're gathering food. Other foods that have scents are crafted foods like venison stew, blueberry pie, that sort of thing, and also vegetables, whether it's corn or potatoes or anything like that. It will have a scent as well. Okay, something else I want to show you guys. As you can see, my fullness and hydration are really low. And if either of them drops to 0, you will slowly start to die of starvation or thirst. You don't necessarily have a buff indicator of that. You'll just start getting hurt. And a lot of times you'll be running around doing stuff and unaware of it, and all of a sudden you'll get injured and you'll wonder what the crap just happened. It's probably because you haven't eaten or drank. So try to be aware as you're doing other things that you need to stay on top of that as well. So since my fullness and hydration are low, I'm going to go ahead and refill them by eating some chili. And now if you see, that chili just dropped my hydration to 0. That chili actually affects your hydration. This might not be 0, but it's like really close. Okay, so there we go. So it was 0. So now you see I just got hurt. That's because I have no hydration. So in order to remedy that, I'm going to drink some water. And see, that refilled my fullness and hydration a tad, but there's still quite a bit that I need to refill. Now, when you eat canned food, something they've added now is that it drops these empty cans. These empty cans, when you have 2 of them, can be turned into scrap metal, or if you have another equivalent. For instance, these iron fragments. That's something. The next thing I'm going to show you. These iron fragments, you get these, if you remember, from smacking those big rocks there with your stone axe, and eventually with a pickaxe. What those iron fragments are good for is turning into scrap iron. Now, if you notice, it says a count of 5. What the deal is each of these iron fragments are worth a half of a scrap iron, so keep that in mind. So if you see I put 1 there, you don't get anything from it. Same thing with the tin can. Or the empty can, I guess is the official name of the item. So now if I put 2 iron fragments there, you see I have 1 scrap metal. Now watch this. When you have items that translate into a similar resource, you can place them both on your crafting grid, and look, you get an scrap iron from 2 different things, but because they process into the same thing, you get it. So since I have an uneven amount of iron fragments and an uneven amount of an empty can, but they match up to make an even amount of all, I'm going to go ahead and craft that into 6 scrap iron. I'll get into what that can be, or into what the main thing you want to use that for here in a minute. It's getting later in the day, so I think we really kind of want to get a structure up before we worry about moving on to the next thing. The structure is going to be essential to lasting through the night. So yeah, we'll leave the scrap iron sit for now. I'm gonna let's cut down a few more of these trees around here, hun, and just kind of get working here to get just a bare bones little shack up to be able to survive in. Since we went ahead and placed our sleeping bags, we're gonna go ahead and build a structure around those sleeping bags. Maybe we'll pick them up and build a bit of a floor. When you guys knock a tree down like that, make sure, whatever resource gathering you're doing, as you're smacking it, just, if you want to, right when you know you're close to the end, or if you're just mass gathering, hold down your E key, and it will expedite the process. Because as soon as you knock the tree down while you're holding the E key, you'll just automatically pick that wood log up, and you won't have to worry about aiming at it or losing it or anything like that. So we're just going to gather a few more of these trees here. I guess I can speak a little bit more on where we're going from here while I'm gathering these trees. The next step you're going to want to go to after you've got a shelter to be able to hunker down in. The next big step you're going to want to take is moving into iron tools. And the first iron tool you're going to want to craft is an iron pickaxe. An iron pickaxe will then allow you to start gathering iron in mass quantities, which will allow you to craft all of your other iron tools, as well as most of the key items in the game. In order to get that iron pickaxe, you are going to basically have to run around and smack a bunch of these big rocks to gather iron fragments. You can also loot scrap iron from different loot containers, but the more surefire way to get your starting iron is to smack those big boulders. Okay, another note. As you can see, since I've been gathering resources, if you look on my toolbar, my stone axe, the bar underneath it is the durability bar, and you can see it's gotten quite low. Another way you can tell is hover over it, and you'll see durability is 85 out of 250. So once that drops to 0, it will then break, and you'll no longer have the tool. Another thing to be aware of is entity damage is 3.4 and block damage is 0.34. As your durability wears down, those numbers will wear down too, which means that your tool will be less effective the more damaged it is. So it's important to stay on top of repairing your tools. And to show you, each item or each tool actually has an item to repair it. Let me grab a few of these. The stone axe, as you'll see, repair item is small stone. So let me gather a few more small stones here. And you can also get small stones from destroying these big boulders. So it's kind of double duty, but because I'm trying to repair my stone axe before I use it again, I'm just going to gather a few from the ground. So now, once you're ready to repair it, if you put it in the crafting grid without your repair item, you'll see that there's nothing there. You have to be careful of this with other items, because you can actually scrap stuff. I don't know if your crossbow... No. Stuff like your iron pickaxe or guns when you eventually get them. If you put them in the crafting grid without the repair item, it will scrap it into stuff like scrap iron, and you don't want to do that if you're trying to repair it. So be aware of that. At any rate, to repair a tool, you put it in the center of your crafting grid, and then anywhere around it, you can put its repair item. So go ahead and use those small stones. And you can also see here on that stack, the repair amount is 30. That means it will repair... 30 durability? I think what it is it repairs 10 per item. So let's see how it works. I'll just try and use those 7 stones. Let's see. Okay, so that repaired it to maximum durability. I want to say it's 10 durability points per repair item. I know that's how it translates on the iron tools. But at any rate, so there you go. You can see now our stone axe is repaired, and if you look at the stats, the entity damage is up to 10, which is a lot better than 3.4, and the block damage is up to 1, which is a lot better than the decimal it was at. So now we're ready to go again. But I believe I've gathered enough wood. Yeah, 23. Yeah, 368. That should be plenty to craft a small structure. Food? Food?
Yes,
Fair
like
food?
straight up. Like as in venison stew food.
Wow!
I
Did you
looked
loot
at
that?
them.
Oh, cool.
And there's
Venison
2
stew.
yucca juice for you too.
Ah, thank you. That will be very nice. Okay. I'll show you guys how to make the yucca juice later, especially since we're close to a desert. Yucca juice is a pretty nice deal. It's better than straight up water because it adds 15 hydration. I think water only adds 10. And then it actually adds a little bit of your fullness too, whereas water doesn't. Water or even goldenrod tea don't add anything to your fullness, and it's kind of a nice stamina boost, kind of like honey. So just chug one of those, maybe 2 of them. Actually, water might do a little more hydration. So now, venison stew. Oh, this bad boy is the best food in the game. Man, it's so good. Now, the one drawback is, you see the little nose here? That means it's emitting a smell. That's what I was talking about with raw meat or anything along those lines. You're carrying something that smells and attracts zombies, store it in a container. So be aware of that, and I'll show you how that looks also on the map. If you hit M, see these little squiggly lines emitting from me? That shows that I'm carrying something that has a smell that will attract zombies, and it shows the radius in which it will attract the zombies around me. So be aware when you're carrying a food like that. That's the effect it'll have. Now, back to the venison stew. Besides having a smell, you'll see it actually adds health. So not only does it feed you, but it actually helps to heal you. Beyond that, it also not only adds 40 fullness, but it adds 25 hydration. So this stuff is just excellent food source all the way around. So, okay. I'm going to go ahead and eat that thing, and you'll see my bar just jump up. See, both bars. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? Love that stuff. We'll show you how to make that later when we're in a little bit better way here. Okay, so to begin building a structure, the bare bones building block are these things called wood frames. And you'll see the way they're crafted is with wood planks. So you just want to drop these wood planks in the pattern, and then hit craft, and we have our first wood frame. Now you're not going to want to do all of your wood planks into wood frames. I'm going to go ahead and combine those stacks now that I've got it down front. If you can see, a maximum stack for wood planks is 250. You're not going to want to make all of your wood planks into wood frames, because once you have the wood frame, you actually need to fill it in by upgrading it, and I'll show you that here in a minute. But we're going to do quite a few of them. See if we can get away with making like 40 of them. This, let's see, even number maybe. No, let's see, 45. Let's go 45. We'll see if we can get away with that. Now, just like I placed the secure storage chest, that's how you will place the wood frames. I'm trying to decide, because we're kind of on an uneven floor here. Babe, you want to come pick up your sleeping bag? Let's see if we can get kind of an actual floor. Clear this out a little bit. Of course, the bummer has already placed that wood storage chest. Oh, we can just like make that part of the floor, kind of. That won't be too ugly. Okay, I'm gonna pick my sleeping bag up. Grab some of these bad boys here. Okay, so I guess our I'm trying to see how I'm going to do this. This is awkward. I've never built on a hill before. But we'll make it work.
We can go find somewhere else.
Yeah, but we built the wood storage chest here already.
Well, we can move it.
Well, kinda. Not as easy to you can't just pick it up. But we'll make it work. We'll just make it work here.
Okay, so I need to pick this up?
Yeah, do pick up your sleeping bag. The wood storage chest will just have to be kind of in the floor. So as you can see, I'm taking these wood frames and right-clicking to place them. And I'm just kind of trying to get a basic structure going. Now you see here, I don't know if you saw it a second ago, there's actually, in certain cases, when there's a place you think you can place a block, There you go. See how it's highlighted red? That means you cannot place a block there, even if it shows that you're targeting that area. So, kind of a little bit idiot-proof. Okay. I think I'm going to leave a space there so we can put another wood storage chest. Okay, so might have to gather some more wood. Because I think I want to do a little bit bigger than this. Make it a little bit wider. Like my British accent. Make our structure a little bit wider. There are probably British people watching this video cringing right now. Okay, let's see. Throw a few more blocks down there. That's decent size for... Actually, I'll just do this. That's decent size for a starting structure, I think. Be just enough to hunker down in. Maybe go one more wide here. Babe, you think you can gather a little more wood? Because I'm sure I'm probably going to need it.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm positive I'm going to need it because I'm almost out of wood frames already. And I'm going to need a lot more than that. I'm completely out of wood frames. Let's just go ahead. Okay. I got to gather some more wood too. Oh, this is the part of the video where we just kind of focus on resource gathering. In fact, while we gather the resources, well, let's see. I do want to show you, let me show you real quick. I think we're going to go ahead and kind of focus on building and or focus on resource gathering and building. I'll tell you about a couple more things and show you about upgrading blocks, and then we'll continue on in the next episode. One thing I wanted to show you guys, I've been talking about time management, something you need to be really aware of. Not only can you tell sort of by the lighting, which is absolutely beautiful in this game, have to make that little bit of a note, but you can tell by the lighting and by the sun position that the sun is going down. In the upper left corner, you'll see the day count and the clock. That's ever present, and sort of like Tom Hanks said in the movie Castaway, we live and we die by the clock. And in that, when the clock reads 2100, at that point the sun has gone completely down. That's when it's considered night, and that's when zombies will be running. So that is your deadline to have a structure up that you can hunker down in order not to have to worry about dying. At least to give you a bit of a safety net. So be aware of that. That is your deadline, is 2100. You've got to have a structure up by then. The next thing I'm going to show you is upgrading these wood frames. It's really easy. Actually, I've got just enough. So as you can see, I've got wood planks here. This is the resource necessary. Okay, it doesn't say anything about it. This is the resource necessary for doing your first. And as you can see, with the wood or the stone axe, that's the tool you use to upgrade the wood frames. Well, you can use any repair tool for that matter, but I'll get into that later. But you right-click with it, and that's what upgrades it. You hold right-click, and that will just automatically continue to upgrade it until it uses all the resources necessary to fully upgrade it. So I've upgraded that one once. I don't want to upgrade any more than that for now because, well, actually, the outer ones here I want to upgrade twice just to give it full durability, because this will be our outer wall. So upgrade once, and then upgrade twice. So in order to upgrade to the first and second tiers of these wood frames, you need wood planks, and as you can see, that used all of them. It uses 2 wood planks for upgrade, so use 2 wood planks to upgrade that to the first one, and then 2 wood planks to upgrade that to the first one, and then 2 more to upgrade to the second one. So that's where my 6 wood planks went that I had left. The next upgrade level for this uses scrap iron, and I could do that, but I want to save my scrap iron for forging. I was hoping to have a little more done in the first day, but I think we're going to be alright. We got about 4 hours in game time until until we squat in the dark and hope we don't die.